All of this chaos is happening because some of y'all would rather let this country burn to the ground than to elect a woman to be the president of the United States, and especially a Black woman. If you're new here, my name is Zakiya Young, your favorite suburban Black girl, and y'all, I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. I have had so many thoughts going through my mind about what is happening, especially as someone who lives in Los Angeles. And first and foremost, do not believe the hype. These are not chaotic protesters, these are peaceful protesters, and they're responding to the violence that is being brought by the government. Now, here's what I find fascinating about, are we having an, okay, little aftershock. We just had an earthquake a couple minutes ago. Um, there's so many things going on and so many topics, and I'm exhausted. And if you are a survivor of narcissistic abuse, you might find this time very, very unsettling because we are being gaslit by the government. We are also being gaslit. If you're a Black person, you're being gaslit by other people of color because, yes, the protesters are being peaceful. And yes, they are showing what is happening before the violence ensues. But that's as if to say the Black Lives Matter protesters were violent, which they weren't. It was the same thing. See, what I want people to understand is that the people at the top know that we are stronger together. So what they do is they sow seeds of distrust. So before immigrants even come to America, they are told not to trust Black Americans. They are told that Black Americans are lazy and that they're criminals and that they're good for nothing and that they are the reason why we have not gotten to a certain point. They're leaving out the whole history of slavery and racism and assimilation and sexism so that you already come to America not trusting us. So when we say, hey, we were just peacefully protesting, in the back of your mind, a lot of people think, no, you guys were violent. You don't believe that Black people could have been peacefully protesting. So now when I see these posts where people are saying, see, this is what we were doing, we were peaceful, there's that underlying idea that other protesters weren't peaceful, that other protesters were just out in the streets burning shit down just because they felt like it. No, they responded to the violence that was brought to them. And if you are so blind to think that you are going to get the same treatment as January 6th rioters got, you are sadly mistaken. Again, y'all are not white. And the thing is, they know that if we actually get together and pool our resources and stop mistrusting each other, then we will be an incredibly powerful force that will actually potentially get us equality. But the thing is, that mistrust caused y'all to vote against your best interests. That mistrust caused y'all to believe that man in the White House when he said he'd only be deporting criminals. And Black people tried to tell you that's why I'm exhausted, because I'm someone who's never going to let us forget how we got here. Some people might say this is not the time. No, this is exactly the time. We would not be in this mess if y'all did not other Black people. If you actually listen to what we said, because we are the ones that have been here for centuries and we know how the system works, y'all thought you were different. You believe the lies because a lot of you who came here are wealthy in your home countries. So you come here with this mindset of classism, and you're forgetting that we are all cogs in the capitalist machine. America would never have been a superpower without the free labor from my ancestors. And they seduced you with the American dream. And you came here hoping to build a better life for your families. And every, I'd say, 50 years or so, you're reminded that you're not white and that your American dream comes with limits. And they treat you the same way they've treated Black people. And this is why we're not out in the streets, because we did try to tell you. Now, two things can be true. I can still think it's incredibly terrible I think it is horrific what is happening. I live in a Mexican neighborhood. My neighbors are terrified. I've seen people getting picked up by ICE. And again, it's the notion that y'all thought that they were only going to pick up criminals, because apparently, somewhere in the back of your mind, you must think that police only pick up people who are guilty. When Black people have been saying for decades, no, they've been framing us. They've put a lot of us in jail who were innocent. They don't need a reason. They don't need a reason because y'all voted for that man. They don't need a reason because they realized that your underlying bias against Black people would keep you from listening to the people who actually know what they're talking about. And as far as sexism goes, what's frustrating to me is that I'm hearing from men that I love and care about, saying, well, they're never going to elect a woman president. Talk to your boys. Like, you're acting like it's a foregone conclusion. You're acting like people can't change their minds. Or is it that you don't want to let go of the little bit of privilege that you have? So you'd rather see the country burn down than to potentially let go of the little piece of privilege you have. It sounds very much like white women that voted for Trump, voting against their best interests because white privilege is more seductive than having privilege and equality as a woman. And I have so many thoughts about boomer lawmakers that are still in office. Y'all are part of the problem too. I will always vote. My ancestors fought for my right to vote. I'm always going to vote. But what the Democrats don't seem to understand is that we don't need cuddly grandpa and grandma. We need people who are actually going to be out there in the streets. We need people that are going to be speaking up, people that are actually going to be taking action, because why the fuck hasn't anyone investigated the election results? The people that are doing stuff for the Democrats, who are actually doing their jobs, are being told to wait their turn. Like, I hear from older Democrats, well, nobody younger is coming, it's stepping up to the plate. There's a process. We don't have time for process. We don't have time for the processes that have been in place for decades. We need smart, younger leadership. And I'm not being an ageist. I'm not. But I was thinking last night when I was frustrated because I had just talked to my parents about this and I had to end the call. I love my parents. We disagree on this one thing, because I was saying the Democratic leadership is not mentoring properly our next shining stars. Whatever the process is, it's taking too fucking long. It's taking too long. If Joe Biden would have just not tried to run again, we could have had a primary. And then all of the people that were upset that VP Harris did not receive a traditional primary could have voted for her. Like, they were able to get away with this because there was so much dissension. There was the sexism, there was the racism, and there were people within the party that were not even backing our candidate. And it's just fascinating to me because I'm like, if you are over 65, you should be thinking about retirement, not taking on one of the hardest jobs. Like, remember how it aged President Obama? Remember how young he looked during his first term? And by the end, he looked worn out. And he was young. So what I don't understand is, why is it that when people your age are retiring, you're not thinking of future generations? If more of the people that died in office would have retired, we wouldn't be in this mess. But when you died in office, what happened? When you died as a Supreme Court justice, what happened? It's like when I go out to the club, okay? I am 46 years old. I know that I am no longer the shining star of the club. I know that the old heads that are there, they are not looking for me. I know that I'm there to go out with my girls and have a good time. I know that I look fly, and I know that I might have some young buck come up to me trying to have a Mrs. Robinson adventure. But I am not the centerpiece of the club anymore. That is for the girls in their 20s. Live your best lives. I'm not trying to be the centerpiece anymore. And I feel like the senior citizens that are in elected offices are still trying to be the center of attention at the club when y'all need to be sitting down and sipping on some water and resting your feet. And again, this is not ageism. Think back to when you were in your mid 40s. Would you have wanted people your parents' age running the government? When you are seeing what happens as people age, when you are seeing the memory lapses, when you are seeing that physical bodies cannot stand up to the same types of pressures that they used to be able to stand up to when they were in middle age. I just don't understand why y'all keep running. And yeah, you can say, well, they keep electing us. Well, when the Democratic Party isn't putting their money behind young, exciting candidates, then you get older voters that are just like, yeah, this name looks familiar. Let's vote him in. Democrats, you are losing your base. You're losing your base. We don't need people that have the moral high ground. Fuck a moral high ground. Where has that moral high ground gotten you? Where has that gotten us? Here, you choose candidates that are so perfect on paper that a lot of people can't relate to them. And you need to get with the program because as it stands now, it's going to be really hard to get people out to vote, especially when you are actively sidelining exciting young politicians like Jasmine Crockett. Or is that because she's a woman? Y'all are going to let this bullshit ruin this entire country. And I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. Black conservatives, don't jump on this bandwagon of, yeah, illegal immigrants need to be deported. Like, they're still not going to let you in the club. They're still never going to see you as anything other than somebody black. You are never going to be on their level. They're never going to let that happen. So stop trying to get Daddy Trump to notice you. He's never going to notice you. He wouldn't even rent you an apartment if you lived in New York. He might even take out a full page ad against you, accusing you of horrible crimes that you never committed. Stop. It's not going to get you brownie points. Go heal. Heal whatever wound is in you that would have you heal whatever wound you have that made you think this was the right move. It's just, all of this could have been avoided. All of this could have been avoided. But when you trust the oppressor more than the people who have lived under the oppression, you're going to find yourself in the same position. And y'all looked at us when we were marching for Black Lives Matter, and you were saying, why can't they just follow the law? We were following the law. We were doing what this country was founded on. But we are seeing that in America, only white people are allowed to protest without being called violent, without being called criminals. I'm tired. I'm scared. But overall, I'm frustrated. Because at the end of the day, it's ego and bias that got us here, and selfishness, and a lack mentality. There's literally enough for everyone, but you've got a handful of people that say, no, there's only enough for me and my friends. And they're confusing us and dividing us by saying that we are each other's enemies, and y'all fell for it. Y'all fell for it and you voted for your dude. And now y'all are coming out of the woodwork. I didn't vote for this. Yes, the fuck you did. He literally said he was going to do this, but you thought you were different. So, as you wring your hands over what's happening, I suggest that you look deep inside and ask yourself, did I really miss him saying he was going to do this? Did I really just trust a failed businessman would save us simply because he's a white man with some money? Did I really choose to not vote for an incredibly qualified presidential candidate because she's a woman and she's black? Did I choose not to vote because I didn't like either candidate? So I decided to throw away my vote. Y'all are to blame too. So yeah, I'm not going to let people get away with saying, I don't know how this happened. I'm going to tell you how it happened. Y'all did this. I get no satisfaction from saying this. But let's not lose the plot. Why we're here is because of sexism and racism. We could have avoided this. Now, that being said, I didn't even march for Black Lives Matter because I feel like my strengths are better used in these videos. I can still be frustrated with how we got here while also saying this is dead ass wrong, while also saying this is a fantastically hypocritical, this is such a hypocritical response to protesting when we all saw what happened on January 6th. See, this is the gaslight of it all. You get the media and the president saying these things are illegal. This is an illegal protest. We have to protect our police officers, blah, blah, blah. But then on January 6th, we all saw that none of that mattered. See, that's the ultimate gaslight. So if you are an abuse victim, please take care of yourselves because I know I'm going through it. I'm going through it. I will have more to say at a later time. Take care of yourselves. And yeah, take everything you read with a grain of salt. You hear how quiet it is? The media would have you believe that LA is like literally at war right now, and it's really not. But also, I feel really bad for the people in my neighborhood who are terrified. You feel it in the air. There's such fear. And following the rules really never helps anybody. Like, I, as a reformed people pleaser and suburban black girl, I thought assimilation would protect me. It didn't. Because at the end of the day, I am still unmistakably black. And I have the nerve to be tall, which means I could be threatening. Y'all thought assimilation would keep you safe. Y'all thought assimilation would somehow allow you to be seen as different from the other folks that are committing crimes. They don't care. They don't care. That's why when we had the diaspora wars back when I was living in New York, I was like, do you really think that when the police pull you over, they're going to say, oh, you're an immigrant, you're different, go on ahead? No, they're just going to see you as black. Just like now, they're just seeing people as Mexican, Puerto Rican, non-white immigrant. They don't care. You are just like the rest of us. The only good thing that could come out of all of this is that we realize that we are stronger together and we need to stop mistrusting each other. We get no joy in doing this, But what you're not going to do is beg me for help when I tried to warn you, when I told you this was going to happen. You're not going to beg me for help, and you're not going to guilt trip me into getting out in these streets. I'm not going to do it. I am going to share information. I am going to say this is wrong, to be lectured by people about how to act, how to behave, and to be labeled in such horrible terms as Black Americans are labeled, but then to be sought after for help when the thing we said was going to happen happens. It's a real fucked up thing. It's really fucked up. So many things can be true all at the same time, but we're all losing right now, and we didn't have to. So yeah, the past couple days, I've been thinking about like doing a video because so much is happening, but I honestly did not have the words, and I have to take care of my mental health. You can see I'm dragging. So take care of yourselves. Be safe. And yeah.